Sorry for the wrong grammar and spelling. English is not my first language. I think I will not be posting in 1 month, but I'll try to post if I have time because it's fourth grading now and I need to study and I have a lot of projects to do and our exam is around the corner.
Chapter. YN's grip on the axe's hilt tightened. Her irises stared at Karu's left hand, which was spread out by Kenma. The bite wound that was right on the arm made YN sick. Crash! A grievous scream was heard. Not so loud because it was muffled by the handkerchief. Even so, his screams were enough to let anyone who hears know how much it hurts when a limb is separated from the body. Blood splashed on the girl's body, making her beautiful face splashed with red stains. However, YN has no regrets about it, because she managed to save one life. Chapter 3, Day 2, Did YN really save one life? Do you think that simply cutting off Karu's hand to stop the virus from spreading is enough? You think it's going to be that easy? Haha, don't make me laugh. Shit, the tearing of the cloth sounded loud. Blood was seeping out from Karu's severed arm. YN tried to prevent it from using her own clothes. Ripped off the white shirt she was wearing. Karu lost a lot of blood, and he is now on the verge of death for the second time. YN bit her lower lip hard. Isn't all this really sad? Even though YN had already brought a blood bag. However, Karu's blood type didn't match. What nationality is this? YN wanted to cry. Kenma, is there a hospital nearby? Kenma nodded. With shaking hands Kenma pointed at a tall building. Tokyo's big hospital. There are lots of zombies roaming in front of you. YN bets that even in the hospital there must be zombies. YN's irises circulated. YN just remembered. This warehouse. This arsenal is an arsenal of weapons ammo. YN immediately pulled a red cloth. Once opened, dozens of boxes containing complete weapons are stored there. For the umpteenth time, YN is grateful. LLN, are you sure? Kenma looked at YN who was attaching a silencer to the gun. On YN's back were several weapons. Starting from rifles, shotguns, to several grenades, it must have been very heavy. Kenma really couldn't believe that an ordinary girl like YN could carry it so easily. I'm very sure, I won't let Karu die. YN's head started to come up with a plan. The distance between this warehouse and the hospital was not too far. The zombies that had been wandering around the warehouse have also been taken care of. Maybe the main problem is the dozens of zombies in the hospital. If Atsumu or Bakuto calls you, tell them I'm on my way to the hospital. And if they're successful, please tell them to stay at Atsumu's house. YN handed Kenma a gun. Kenma's hands trembled as he received it. Use this to kill zombies. Kenma nodded. His grip on the cell phone and gun tightened. His irises stared at YN's back. A sigh escaped from the girl's mouth. YN's eyelids opened, staring intently at dozens of zombies behind the hospital fence. Switch to Sakusa and Atsumu. Now the two of them are at a convenience store across the street. The irises of the two of them focused on staring ahead, where there were dozens of zombies. We have to find another way. Atsumu glanced at Sakusa. The curly youth seemed to be cleaning his body, which was covered in zombie blood. I don't know how many bottles of hand sanitizer OMI used to do that. OMI, this isn't the time to clean up. Sakusa's movement stopped. His irises glared at Atsumu. He intended to throw a rebuttal, but failed when he remembered YN's words. An annoyed sigh escaped Sakusa's lips. His hand immediately took the axe that he had put on the floor. This is disgusting. They are currently on their way to Osamu's tavern. At first their journey was safe. The route given by YN is quite confusing, but safe. Because there are not too many zombies blocking the way. So they didn't expect that in the middle of the road there were still a lot of zombies hanging around. The number is more than 20. Listen Atsumu, for the sake of the success of the trip, they also try to lower their egos and work together. Sakusa and Atsumu seem to be peeking at the outside situation. Atsumu swiftly plugged his ears. Zombies are very sensitive to sound. So you have to throw firecrackers in that direction. Sakusa's index finger pointed at a vast empty warehouse. When they're all in, we both have to close the door and lock it from the outside. Atsumu nodded in understanding. Slowly Atsumu and Sakusa walked towards the warehouse. They minimized the sound produced. Luckily, Sakusa is known to have a calm personality, so he is able to think clearly even when faced with difficult situations. Atsumu prayed for a moment before launching into a plan. Atsumu's hand gripped the necklace hanging around his neck. Somehow Sakusa felt familiar with the necklace. Who are you praying to? Atsumu's irises rolled to the side, glancing at Sakusa. Then Atsumu gave a crooked smile. Goddess YN. Without warning, Atsumu threw the firecrackers into the warehouse. Sakusa glared. That bastard Atsumu really can't be worked with. 3 seconds before the firecracker exploded, Sakusa immediately hid behind a wall. His grip on the axe tightened. After this was done, Sakusa made sure he would hit Atsumu's head with the hilt of the axe. Boom! Gura! As per Sakusa's plan, dozens of zombies ran towards the source of the sound. Number almost touched the number 30. After making sure they all entered, Sakusa and Atsumu immediately closed the door swiftly. The creaking sound of the barn door caught the zombies' attention. Immediately they came to their senses, and intended to leave, towards Sakusa and Atsumu. Unfortunately for Sakusa and Atsumu, the door was only partially closed. Bastard! They're awake! Another curse came out of Atsumu's mouth. This time he cursed at the barn door, which was so heavy and made a sound. Even though the distance of the zombies was very close, the zombies are trying to break through. Atsumu and Sakusa desperately held the door. The two of them did everything in their power to prevent the door from opening again. The hands of the zombies came out from between the doors. They tried to reach Atsumu and Sakusa. Just a little more. Oh my. Without realizing it, a zombie has been behind Atsumu. The distance was so close that he was ready to bite Atsumu's shoulder. Sakusa's eyes widened when the zombie opened its mouth wide. Atsumu. Snaps. An iron hit the zombie's head. Makes zombies' heads break. Atsumu felt his heart would jump out at that very second. He almost met the angel of death. Quickly pushed the door. Then there was one other person who helped them. That person hit the zombie's hands with an iron rod. Some of the hands were broken, some were forced to enter. After a tiring struggle, finally Sakusa and Atsumu managed to close the door tightly and then lock it. Don't forget to hold the door using a few boxes. Both of them were panting. Sweat dripped down Atsumu and Sakusa's temples. They were both in shock, especially Atsumu. Atsumu almost got bitten a second time. Are you alright? The figure of a man in police uniform is seen standing proudly in front of Atsumu and Sakusa. Beside the man stood another figure. Atsumu's eyelids narrowed. He seemed to have seen them both before. But when? Oh, sorry. We haven't introduced ourselves, have we? Too much pleasantries and too much talking. If these two people don't help him. Of course Sakusa chose to just leave. My name is Sawamura Daichi. Daichi's hand pointed at the man with the white hair who smiled gently. A motherly aura emanated from the man. And this one's name is Sugawara Koshi. Hello. Oh, Atsumu remembers now. They are the captain and setter of Karasuno Volleyball, the volleyball team that managed to beat Team Inarizaki during the national match. Atsumu got up, followed by Sakusa. By the way, you look like the guy at the tavern. The movement of the two stopped when they heard the words that came out of Daichi's lips. Sagawa's hand flew, piercing Daichi's waist. Oh my gosh, Daichi. He's Hanada's teammate, a member of MSBY Black Jackals. Daichi flinched when Atsumu grabbed his shoulders. Atsumu's irises stared straight at Daichi. There was a look of concern. You know where my twin brother is now? Daichi nodded. Yeah, I'll take you to the shop. YN hates to admit that she's cornered right now, after experiencing a fierce battle with the zombies in front of the gate. Now she is faced with dozens of zombies on the second floor of the hospital. They came in groups, looking for YN, who was hiding in the morgue. The only safe place without zombies is the morgue. Why? Because zombies are not interested in biting dead humans. YN wiped the zombie's blood that wet the blade of the axe and rifle weapon she was using. Then proceed to clean her own body. Either lucky or great, YN managed to fight them off unscathed. Even though YN remembers, in this life she hasn't trained her physique at all. Considering that the first day was already being chased by zombies, YN didn't have time to train physically. Let alone physical training, she just can't make a plan. YN peeked through the small glass in the door. The zombies are still roaming around. Roughly, there were less than 30 of them. No more than the zombies on the first floor. However, it's still annoying. I hate hospitals. The hospital becomes one of the places that contain a lot of zombies after the shopping center. In addition to many humans who cannot do anything because of illness. Some of the people who were bitten must have been rushed to the hospital. Those who intended to save were not saved. Within 2 days, Tokyo turned into a sea of zombies. I don't know how many people survived, but clearly, 70% of the population of Tokyo has turned completely into zombies. The pandemic is terrible. YN's irises stared at the image on the phone. The screen showed the hospital floor plan that he had photographed after killing all the zombies on the first floor. Then her attention turned towards the notification bar. The signal is getting weaker on the second day. It was already 2010. YN muttered quietly. It was dark outside, she only had to wait a few more minutes. But Karu couldn't wait that long. Karu's body had already lost too much blood. YN took a deep breath. She had to bet to be able to get the results through her own hands. This better than doing nothing like an idiot. In one move YN opened the door, then shot the zombies in sight. The silencer used in the rifle is not fully capable of overcoming zombie hearing. Several zombies within 5 meters of YN's position immediately ran after them. Grr! YN ran away. She kept pressing the trigger of the rifle. Dozens of hot lead hit the zombies, making some of them fall with their heads with holes. However, the more YN dodged, the more zombies noticed her presence. YN tried to keep thinking clearly, thinking carefully about a plan that she can use to escape from here. YN couldn't keep running, she had to get to the generator before her stamina ran out. At a time like this I wish there was Sakusa. Now YN is starting to remember past memories. The conditions and circumstances were the same as back then. Run through zombies to get blood bags. The difference is now YN is running alone. But who cares about that? Wake up, YN. So what if there's no Sakusa? Ambition flared in YN's eyes. She is not a spoiled woman who immediately gives up when there is no male main character. God did not give a beautiful world, such as reincarnation into a noble or suddenly moving to the anime world. It's not the banquet or politics of the nobles that YN is dealing with. Nor is it a storyline that cannot be changed regardless of the circumstances. The battlefield YN is currently facing is the apocalypse. Zombie apocalypse. If now YN fails. So, there is no meaning to the chance that God gave to YN. It's a waste if YN goes back in time just to let Karu or the others die. Because this is not a game world, where YN can return to the checkpoint upon death. You know, I think you are like a queen. The queen who always wins every war there is. At a time like this, it was Sakusa's smile and words that flashed through YN's head. Dozens of zombies are getting closer and closer. As if testing YN's struggle, the zombies on the top floor immediately descended when they heard gunshots. Makes the number increase 3 times than YN expected. YN's eyes sharpened as they stared at the approaching zombies. YN's grip on the axe tightened. If it fails, everything will be over. Whether Sakusa is there or not, I'm still the queen. I'll make sure all my people live. In one fell swoop, the axe blade hit the hospital's main supply of electricity. Samu. Like a movie story, Atsumu and Osamu ran over. Both of them looked so happy to see their twin was still alive. Why are you here with Sakusa? Where's YN? Atsumu forgot that Osamu only cared about YN's figure. After all, Osamu never intended to run to hug Atsumu. He was just confirming whether there was a YN between Atsumu and Sakusa. But nothing. He's saving Karu and Kenma. A sigh of relief escaped Osamu's lips. Fortunately, YN also survived. Alone. There were many things in this world that Atsumu wanted to hit. Sakusa is one of them. The curly young man must have had revenge after the incident at the warehouse. Oh, my god, after this I'm sure to listen to Osamu's long ramblings. For God's sake, what are you going to do, Samu? Following YN, Atsumu screamed hysterically when Osamu was about to jump out of the window. So did Sugawara and Daichi. The 3 of them tried to pull Osamu in. Because there are a lot of zombies out there that haven't been exterminated. Sakusa just stared at Osamu flatly. Osamu's reaction was the same as Atsumu's reaction when he heard YN leave alone. Both intend to do reckless things. They're basically twins. Don't hold me back, Sumu. YN must be having a hard time there. You'll be in trouble too if you go there. In silence Sakusa thought, what's so great about YN to be able to make the twins panic and bicker? As Sakusa recalled, YN was just a strange girl who miraculously adjusted to situations well. On the first day, YN cried on Sakusa's chest, making the clothes that Sakusa was wearing wet. Sakusa was getting fed up with the commotion these idiots were creating. Can you guys just sit back and trust her? LN can definitely do it. Finally this tiring struggle is over. YN managed to get some blood bags. Not only that, YN also brought drugs. She also brought some medical equipment. Just in case anyone gets hurt. Prepare medicine before getting hurt. Ready axe, after being bitten. Kenma, Kuru. With one motion YN opened the barn door. Finally YN was able to save Kuru. With this, it means that there is a change in destiny. Before finally Karu's pale face faded all the happiness that existed. You're late, haha, how naive to think you saved one life, YN. To be continued.